The Cottonwood County Citizen proudly presents Athlete of the Week. Laraway Roofing Incorporated has provided southern Minnesota with superior roofing services for over 60 years. We provide commercial, industrial, institutional, and residential roofing services to clients across the southern half of Minnesota. Put us to the test and let us show you what we can do for you today and into the future. Call us today, 800-967-1738.
I'm joined right now by Comfrey Senior Presley Dockter, our Athlete of the Week this week. Congratulations, Presley.
Thank you.
Let's go back to last week's game against Austin. And coming into that game, you guys had lost back-to-back really tough games. And in both those games, just couldn't get a lot of offense generated. What sorts of things did your coach tell you guys to do to generate a little bit more offense?
So we started putting up our defensive player, Ella Dockter, my sister, up to offense with us so we could generate more offense. And then when we got some more goals in there, it was fun to get some of the younger girls in. So then we ended up running all four lines, so everybody got to play. So we made 4 equal lines, and that kind of helped everyone, especially me, like get breaks. So I wasn't going every other shift. So that was a really big part of it.
This season, though, you guys have had enough girls that you've been able to play a JV schedule. How valuable has that been for those younger girls? And you know, the younger girls don't really get a whole lot of opportunity during a game to work with you. So I imagine that they're trying to learn a lot from you at practice.
Yeah, so the JV games are really fun because every varsity player plays 1 period of JV. So 1 period I get to play, and it's really fun to be with the younger girls because I could set them up to score some goals. I usually don't score in JV games, so I use that as an opportunity to get some younger girls some goals.
And an opportunity to work on passing, which you know, this season you look at the stats, you've got just about as many assists as you do goals this year, and you know, the last couple of years you've been primarily a goal scorer and not as much of a facilitator. That's got to be fun for you.
Yeah, it's really fun to set some girls up. I remember, well, tonight we play Waseca, but our first game against Waseca, we were tied 3-3, and I ended up getting the game-winning assist for that one for Toria, and then I also got one against Fairmont with Marissa. So those are really fun.
You know, but against Austin last week, you scored 3 straight goals, and all of them were unassisted. And you know, it's kind of really kind of a tendency for you. You get the puck and you're able to weave your way through the defense. And I imagine a lot of that has to do with, you know, where the program you came up in, but also you played against boys for a year.
Yes.
So tell me about how playing against boys translates into the skills for a girls hockey game.
So I've played more than 1 year with boys. When I was younger, I grew up playing summer hockey with boys, but I've had, I want to say 3 years where checking was allowed. So I think that's why I'm so strong in my skates and I'm not scared to hold on to the puck, and I'm okay with being along the boards because I grew up in that physical environment where I would get hit really hard sometimes by boys that were a foot taller than me. So I think that really helped. And then boys hockey obviously has a little bit more speed to it. So it definitely helped.
Along those lines, though, it does change your mindset when you're playing against girls because obviously checking is not allowed. So at times, how hard is it to balance aggression versus pulling up?
So in the beginning of the season, I would forecheck a lot harder, which caused me to get more checking penalties or roughing penalties. So towards the end of the year, my dad started, or coach, I should say, he started telling me to not forecheck as hard and use reading plays to help create offense, like getting in between passes and stuff like that. And that's helped me a lot. And also, it helps that my teammates are really good at forechecking, because I'm obviously not the fastest on my team, but some other girls forecheck really hard and create most of my opportunities for scoring goals. I really like working with Regan and Madison. Are really fun when they're on my line. They are faster than I am, so especially Regan, she's very quick, so when she gets in the zone, that creates opportunities for me. And then Madison can read plays really well sometimes, and she's in the right spot at the right time, which us three work pretty well together. So
how has that been adjusting to a different goalie and a different style of goalie play?
It's definitely a much different from last year, because we probably have one of the youngest goalies in the conference. So I think this is a really good year for Fiona to build and get ready for like her next year's, because she'll still have 3 more years of varsity. So I think that's going to be a strength to us, is that Fiona will have all of these years of varsity.
The other big transition for you guys as a team this year is having a different coach. And, the coach happens to be in your house. What's it like playing for your dad?
Well, I always grew up playing for my dad, whether that be in softball or hockey. I really enjoy him being my coach, because he gets on me a little bit more than past coaches have. And I grew up with him being my coach, so it's kind of, I'm used to it. Like, as a player, it's kind of nice to get back to how I played when I was younger. And he knows the game really well, so that's really fun too.
Looking ahead for you guys, obviously as we're doing this interview, you got Waseca tonight, but then a busy stretch to close the season out. You guys have Laverne, I believe, on Thursday. You've got Prairie Center, I think, coming to town you go up there on Saturday. Yep. And then you close out the regular season with Worthington in the rescheduled game on Monday. And then you guys are in the playoffs. It seems like the season's barely going, and all of a sudden, boom, here's the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, how does that increase the sense of urgency, especially for a senior?
So last night, my dad actually said to me, you only have 2 more weeks of hockey left, which it kind of came like, oh, wow, really? Because I remember, like, our first game against Laverne, like, that literally felt like a week ago. It kind of brings out some more heart, because obviously you don't want your senior year to end ever. So, yeah, it's definitely a different style of hockey towards the end of the season than it was in the beginning. I would have to say my 12U year of hockey, it would have been my last 12U year. We were in the regional tournament against Armstrong Cooper, and it was in the second overtime to go to state, and I got the game-winning goal. So I remember it in my head. It was very, very fun. I don't really listen to a lot of pop or rap songs, so it's mostly country. Morgan Wallen. Definitely New Ulm, Laverne. They've always been very strong teams, so it's kind of hard to go in and mentally not go down. I think they would describe me as loud and sometimes a little bit crazy, very outgoing. I like to go fishing with my boyfriend, and I like to hang out with my sisters. And
of course, you're a senior this year. What does the future hold?
Right now, I'm planning to go to Mankato State and major in exercise science with the focus of physical therapy.
Well, that should be all we need. Congratulations on a big win last week. Best of luck the rest of the way, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Laraway Roofing Incorporated has provided southern Minnesota with superior roofing services for over 60 years. We provide commercial, industrial, institutional, and residential roofing services to clients across the southern half of Minnesota. Put us to the test and let us show you what we can do for you today and into the future. Call us today, 800-967-1738.